and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, or you could say April Animal Atmansky. And I'm here today with...
Justin Dog DeClue.
Colin Chipmunk Cunningham.
There you go.
Hey, there you go.
Animal Atmansky. That's a real,
it's
forced
okay.
one.
That's like a wrestler name.
Okay, how about April the Ape Atmansky?
There you go.
We said
You had that one in your back pocket
AP is
ready
my
to go.
name. I really just came up with this on the spot. I didn't even plan that.
Oh,
so
people would have never known you didn't plan.
So everybody, it's Animal Month, August. Animals. We got cats, we got dogs, monkeys, chipmunks, the whole gamut.
Everything.
This is our shameless push to get more Patreon subscribers by giving you the content that you want. Animals.
Animals.
Animal
yes.
Month, and by that we mean 2 episodes.
2 episodes.
Well, I think we should do 3, even though the third one will be bleeding into the beginning of September. I think we should go for it. But yeah, so every episode this month is going to be an animal movie, animal-themed movie. We haven't picked them all yet.
We've got guest star George the Animal Steel that's coming.
Oh, wow. Tor Johnson himself.
And yeah, Patreon episodes is gonna have animal themed. We have something very, very special coming to the Patreon this month. But maybe we should save it to the end of the episode to talk about that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Make him listen to
The whole Furry Vengeance
about Furry
episode.
Vengeance.
So, Furry Vengeance. This was my pick, although Justin had brought it up and Colin said that it was on his list, so it was kind of like a group effort.
Yeah, I had it on my list of movies to watch, and then like just last week I deleted it off my list because I thought we're probably never going to get to that. And then you brought it up.
Yes,
or somebody
we
did.
are. And I'm glad that we watched this movie.
Back when comedies used to be funny, right, guys?
Yeah,
Back when they wanted to entertain.
12 years ago. This is from 2010. It's later than I expected.
Before comedy got all woke and you couldn't make jokes anymore.
Yeah, back when the animals were actually real and horrifyingly just puppeted with CGI. Just
I gotta
nightmare
say,
fuel.
This is actually like a very inoffensive movie. Like, there's no like boobs or swearing or anything like that.
I don't like how it
weird,
takes down the logging industry, thank you very much, who are very innocent in their jobs. All they want to do is rid the world of any forest. There's nothing wrong with that.
There is that kind of like not so mildly racist Indian rant from Angela
Well,
Kinsey.
we're supposed to be laughing at her.
Yeah,
Yes.
ironic racism. That's funny, right, guys?
But then you also have Ken Jeong doing his like
His shtick.
Asian voice.
That's what he does.
Which that is his thing, but it's like he had been doing it for like 10 years at this point, so maybe not that long.
Man,
but,
this film is so Frozen in 2010. Like, every actor in it is like, oh, yeah, remember Rob Riggle? What is he up to these days?
That's right.
This is like a comedy bonanza of every comedy actor that was in movies at that time.
It's a mad, 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 mad world of animal-based
It's true.
2010 Daily Show adjacent comedians.
It's true.
Yes.
Daily Show and The Office and Judd Apatow adjacent
Yeah.
comedians.
Directed by Roger Cumble, who directed.
Who is a good director.
He did Cruel Intentions.
okay.
Cruel Intentions
down.
is a very, very good. Okay, I have nostalgia.
He's a good director.
for it.
I love him so much.
Yeah, okay. Well, he also did The Sweetest Thing, which, okay, if you guys watched it, you'd probably hate it, but I like it. I think it's funny. It's a raunchy comedy, and I grew up watching it. And
That's the
it came
one
out when I was in
where
high school.
Cameron Diaz has that foil bird that the trailer featured a lot.
Yes, but there's more to the
And Just Friends? Isn't that the
never
Ryan
saw
Gosling
that one.
is in a... Yep. He's in a large man
No.
suit. from
Ryan
the movie.
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Oh, that'd be funny if it was Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, that's right.
Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart.
Amy Smart.
who's in everything around
Road
that time.
Trips, Amy Smart. I just watched that movie. So.
Yeah.
And from Crank, I think.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she's also from The Butterfly Effect.
That's a movie we should do. I love the Butterfly.
I
we'll
also
get to
love that
that
movie,
one.
but it's terrible.
No one can see me miming a scene from the movie, but anyway.
I know this exact scene too. I laughed so hard.
But okay, Furry Vengeance. Guys, I liked this movie.
Oh, I thought it was very fun, especially when it started with like lame 90s like Tiny Toon style music. So not quite Looney Tune style music, but like rip-off music of it.
Well, speaking of which, Justin, you have been touting that Looney Tunes Back in Action is a good movie for years, and I still haven't seen it.
It is a
Brendan
good
Fraser.
movie. Instead, we're spending time watching Furry Vengeance.
I know, but Brendan Fraser, good in it? Looney Tunes?
He gives it his all in Looney Tunes Back in Action. He's with, is it Jenna Elfman? She's really bad in Looney Tunes Back in Action. So, Joe Dante, when he made Looney Tunes Back in Action, famously said, "I'm making the movie for people who wouldn't even cross the street to see my film." So, it was very difficult for him.
It was a huge failure, but you and Will have been talking about how good it is for so long. I keep thinking, I gotta watch that movie.
It's fun.
So I will.
But instead, we watch Furry Vengeance, which starts with a screaming woodchuck, squirrel. What animal is right on screen?
It was a squirrel.
I think it's a squirrel, but it doesn't have a bushy tail.
Yeah, so this squirrel,
so it's
I knew what movie I was getting into
exactly
when this scene happened, and I laughed and laughed and laughed.
I was laughing so hard because this squirrel is just eating a nut.
It's a real squirrel, not a CGI squirrel like you'd see today.
I was thinking that the entire film would just be CGI animals, I was very relieved.
And I thought it was all puppets. I was wrong.
We were all wrong.
Nope.
But when the CGI animals do show up, oh my God.
So the squirrel, what they do is they in a 2000 stoner comedy when the dog, gets high or something like that, and its eyes are boing, and they stretch your CG. Every animal in this movie does this.
It's like those kind of 2D stretch warp where they kind of manipulate
How much would something
their
like
mouths.
this cost, Colin, to do?
I don't know. Dozens of dollars.
So a car is about to hit this woodchuck, and it goes, and its mouth opens and it screams. And I'm calling it right now. My favorite thing in the movie was the stretchy faces.
Oh, you're stealing it from me. I was going to say that too.
I laughed every time.
Yeah, they're always doing something.
It's so stupid.
But you can tell the animal itself isn't reacting at all. It's just they've stretched its face to do stuff.
I will say I was impressed at. Often there were real animals on screen, which they would never do now.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in Hollywood after the, how could we forget, the Evan Almighty debacle. Where,
Jesus.
Was there a debacle?
Oh, yeah, because they used real animals on that film, and the budget, ballooned to a ridiculous amount. And that killed Tom Shadyack's career. Or he retired, according to his information.
Oh,
well,
man.
I read that you can tell they're real animals. They're all comped in.
Evan Almighty cost $174 million.
Oh my God!
For a movie no one saw.
Nope.
Well, I was laughing so hard at this opening scene because intercuts with Rob Riggle racing along this road driving this Porsche, and he's listening to hard rock music, smoking his cigar, and he just yells out to nobody, "I do as I please."
That's just his catchphrase, I guess.
He's just this rich asshole, but it's so blunt and on the nose.
And then
I face no consequences.
Is he going to hit the squirrel? The raccoon is there, and he signals to his friend on the hill, who I believe is the weasel, to start a Rube Goldberg contraption.
We need to clarify to people that the animals in this film, they want to kill humans so bad. That is their main goal in this film. It's basically I think, is it Lost Weekend or Long Weekend? It's an Australian film about
Long Weekend.
Yeah, Long Weekend. About animals turn against human beings.
That's an amazing movie, by the way.
It's basically that movie. But in this one, they have, as April just said, Rube Goldbergian contraptions to do so. And in this one, a rock flies, hits Rob Riggle in the car, which pushes him to the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, his car goes off the road.
Yeah.
And his car goes off the cliff.
And he dies.
Dead.
He dies. They never see him again. They can't find his body.
Yeah, he's kind of teetering on the edge, and then the raccoon throws his cigar back at him.
And the raccoon
blows.
Oh, man, those
really
lips, those CGI lips, so funny.
Yeah.
And first of all, the ferret that the raccoon signals to has a telescope.
Yes.
They have tools. They've made weapons. They can understand English clearly, which we learn throughout the movie.
They also make human-like sounds. They'll whistle, they'll hum, they go.
Did Frank Welker work on this movie? That's the real question.
No, and I should have made this my favorite part. So I'm sorry. Now I'm
you're stealing all the favorite parts.
Yeah. About 15 minutes into this movie, I clocked the voice actor because I was like, I bet you D. Bradley Baker worked on this because that raccoon sounds exactly like Momo For those who don't know, Momo from Avatar: The Last Airbender, who is the lemur, and D. Bradley Baker, fantastic voice actor, does all kinds of voices, but probably most known for his animal voices. I looked it up. He did every animal in this movie.
Okay.
He does all the animals on Avatar, but in a bajillion other things too. So it's like he's making sounds, which I realize you have to do. And I've heard him in tons of interviews and stuff. Like, I don't think raccoons or weasels or whatever actually make these sounds. He's doing just what he would imagine they would do.
I lived in the country, April.
you know.
Yeah, animals made those kind of sounds, like and
not
stuff like
the
that.
super cute sounds that we've met raccoons. Are they going like?
Yeah, they are. They're like all the time.
But anyway, it made this raccoon, who is a bastard, really cute.
Yeah, he's. I love these animals. They're adorable.
They are very, very cute. Even the skunk. Skunks are adorable.
So the plot of this movie has good man Brendan Fraser has moved in with his family, a son and a wife played by Brooke Shields. And the
Yeah,
son,
who I
who
did not
knows who the
expect.
son is? Some guy.
Some wiener.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a wiener. But actually, he's okay.
And they've moved into this town, so, not this town, the forest that they're deforesting to build a new suburban complex.
And the company is run by Ken Jeong, and they're like, I guess publicly are seen as like the green company. So that,
Remember when we all loved Ken Jeong, people? We loved him,
like-
right?
I only
like-
loved him for like a year or two.
I think
and
for
then
like
he was
one
just
film.
in everything. Well, like I thought
Well,
I
not
don't know what
anymore.
his
He's
first
kind of,
movie
his
was,
expiration
but-
date has passed, but...
Well, the thing is, he does he play characters? He's kind of the same in every movie.
He kind of is.
Like,
And
I
TV.
remember
Did
he
you
was in
know
Knock-
he used to be a doctor?
Yes,
He
yes.
used to be a
Well, I know
doctor.
in Knocked Up he played a doctor,
Yes.
and he wasn't doing this voice that he does that he was doing in like The Hangover, say like the next year or the next couple of years, and then he was doing that. And in this movie, he decides to talk with his American accent, and then just slip into this Asian voice. And he's not speaking Japanese or Chinese, from what I can tell. He's just talking
Is
in
it
this
just gibberish or
voice,
something?
and it's fine, but it's cringy.
Yeah,
Very
not good. Not funny. What is this, Robin Williams doing his black guy voice? Like, come on, Ken.
it's a bit of that.
So, yeah, he's not funny. He's partnered up with the woman who does the Office podcast and used to appear on the Office.
Yeah, blonde woman from The Office.
I wrote her name
Angela
down,
Kinsey,
Angela
I think.
Kinsey. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're skipping over the very cute animated opening sequence.
This
the
looks
opening
like
credits.
shit. Like, what? Did they get like a Flash animator to do this? What's going on here?
It doesn't look
Bite
great,
your
but I was
tongue.
just delighted that it was there.
They
In
don't-
2010,
They don't do things like that anymore.
an animated
But it,
opening.
like, that's what I did in like my learning Flash class. Like,
if you
like,
could do this, I would hire you.
they're all like tweaked so like their arms are moving just a little bit and they're like waving.
It's not like, was it Going Overboard had those horrible Adam Sandler caricatures.
That was disgusting from what I recall. But that was like 1990. This is 2010.
I don't know.
30
I thought,
years later.
I thought it was cute. Whatever.
20 years later?
Bring back the cute animated opening.
Bring back Anaconda. Give me that style of animation.
Oof.
Angela
We
Anaconda.
Angela, sorry.
We
I know
might
someone
need
on this
to
podcast worked on it. I don't want to insult.
You don't want to insult the Anaconda heads.
My guess is our audience doesn't know what Angela Anaconda is, for the most part.
Yeah, if they're not Canadian? Wait, no, because it was on every copy of Pokemon the movie. Remember?
Digimon the movie.
Digimon the movie, sorry.
Yeah, you'd be
Oh,
surprised
boy.
who knows that show. I think it's on Prime.
Is
In
it?
Canada, anyway.
I think one season is. And then talk about your
Did it get any more
awful looking
seasons?
animation. Yeah, I think there was like 3
hey,
seasons.
hey,
Really?
hey. Don't. It's not awful looking, April. Come on now.
I know, great
Someone who
character
worked on
design,
it is
especially
on
on that Johnny Abadi character. He looks great.
I worked on it for like a week.
Oh, only a week? Okay.
And then I quit.
You're like, it's not up to my high
doing this.
standards. I want some of
Which-
that
it's true.
Furry
I wanted
Vengeance style animation.
I wanted to go into effects, and then the company. Well, it was my passion to work in visual effects for movies, and then the company that I worked for at the time got that job, and it didn't look like they had any other VFX lined up. And I was like, I'm not working on this fucking show, and I quit.
Yeah, a good move, I would say.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice in the credits that the film was produced by Image Nation Abu Dhabi?
Yeah. I was like, okay, it's a Middle Eastern co-production.
I'm sure it's not some kind of, money laundering operation at all.
Well, I did read in the IMDb trivia that it's partially funded by like Association for Movies with Good Environmental Messages or something like that, which also
from
sounds
a very
fake.
oil-rich place.
Yeah, that would not be from Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the Abu Dhabi company or whatever, but I mean, it does. This movie does have an environmental message without being preachy, because it's less about saving the animals and more about seeing Brendan Fraser get injured.
Yeah,
not just injured, get hit in the nuts, which is always common.
And
crotch trauma.
And also lots of skunks spray people in this movie.
Baby skunks, man, they're so adorable.
Oh, they're so cute.
Wait, I am disgusted by the first piece of IMDb trivia here.
Yeah,
Brendan
it's
Fraser admits that he is ashamed of this film.
What?
Yeah. I would like to see some...
I want the receipts on that.
the receipts on that.
was
Brendan Fraser
executive
does
producer.
the commentary on this film on the DVD.
Really?
And they seem to have a ball, yeah.
Maybe
Okay,
he
gotta
probably
get that
did it
DVD
like
then.
before the movie was released or something, Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, we're about to head to the premiere. We're just recording this premiere, commentary track.
Well, speaking of which, like, I had to look at Brendan Fraser's IMDb, and this is kind of the last movie that he did before his career like really dropped off, and everything he did between this and The Whale that's coming out, I haven't heard of any of them. The movies, like, they're very like low budget. They're movies that sound okay, but I haven't even heard of them. So
well, he retired for a while.
Yeah.
There
Well,
was like a
and-
big article that came out.
yeah,
a while
now
back.
what we know now is that he probably receded from Hollywood because of the abuse he suffered and his injuries and all kinds
Did you
of
not
stuff.
see that clip I posted of him in that Indian film where he's just
Yes, I did.
bananas?
oh, no.
I did. What was that one called?
I don't remember what the title
Oh.
was, but
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
You can look at his IMDb; it's there, and like the little like montage I made of he is unchained in those scenes.
Yeah.
And now we can't see him as Firefly in the new Batgirl movie because it's not
know.
coming out.
How could they do this to us? And the thing is, like, people are already calling The Whale a comeback, and it's not even out yet.
Yeah.
It's Darren Aronofsky, though, so, like, we got it, all eyes are on him.
The Brendan Fraser Renaissance.
They're already calling it the Renaissance.
Well, I may know people that have seen The Whale, and they're like,
And?
God, Fraser.
Okay,
Like,
good. Also,
Oscar.
isn't he in the new Martin Scorsese movie?
Yep, he is in the new
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese film. He was also in the last Steven Soderbergh film.
Oh, which one?
No False Moves, I think it was called. The one with
I don't
Guillermo del Toro. No,
He's in an acting role.
no sudden move. Yeah, what is this? Kojima video game or
Kojima
something
video
like that? Benicio del Toro.
And he said, okay. Yeah.
Well, I might watch that because I haven't seen a lot of new Soderbergh except for
Yeah, that one's
Kimmy,
fun.
I guess.
That
But
one has
yeah,
a
okay, I'm
great
gonna check it out.
cast. It has Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, David Harbour, John Hamm, Brendan Fraser, Julia Fox,
Yeah, and
Kieran
wasn't
Culkin.
that just like last year or the year before?
Yep, it was just dropped on Amazon Prime, so there wasn't
shit.
a big like build up or anything like that to it.
The Soderbergh style, just drop something on streaming and don't tell anyone.
Shot it on my phone yesterday. Here it is.
Oh man, I wish I'd be there. I mean, I was day one for all of those movies. But back to Furry Vengeance. I mean, see the plot with Furry Vengeance. I'm sure Colin will take a step by step,
Yes.
but it will be describing all the ways that like Brendan Fraser and then he gets sprayed by the skunk for the
Yeah,
seventh time.
It's true, but it is funny.
Yeah, I feel like it could have done with more of that stuff. I feel once it leans
I
into the
agree.
plot, once we get into the plot with the Wiener son, meeting the girl and blah
I
blah
know
blah.
they felt the need to shoe in this like
Who
teen
cares?
romance where it's like we really don't need it. That being said, I kind of hate the son for most of the movie, and then he gets to be at least a little bit funny later, like the scene in the library. He's like trying to do some like shtick, and I was like, he's okay, but he's just like, Dad, like you're terrible.
I miss the city.
He's whiny, and it's annoying.
Yeah, and it's unnecessary. I feel like they just threw it in there to pad out the movie or just to sort of, I don't know, give it a standard movie plot or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
So what we learn is that Brendan Fraser's boss, Ken Jeong, he actually wants them to destroy the whole forest to build even more houses there. Uh-oh.
Well, the raccoon says that. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, because the raccoon's on the plane.
The raccoon
gets on
is
there.
listening to everything that happens.
Yeah, he sneaks into this lunch basket that he brings to Ken Jeong, and
Picnic basket.
keeps cutting back to the raccoon, like clearly listening and understanding English, like this plan. Like,
also, did we talk about the speech bubbles, the thought bubbles?
okay, this is my favorite thing.
God.
This is my favorite thing.
Quite a choice.
This is great. This is inspired. It's like when the animals talk to one another, they have these little like speech bubbles that pop up that shows clips from the movie
and
explaining
it's like
what's going on.
a cartoon speech bubble.
It looks so bad, and like the clips will be like a clip from Braveheart, or Brendan Fraser dressed as the devil.
I disagree.
that was
great.
insane that they got a clip from Braveheart.
The raccoon like addresses all the animals in the forest, and he's got like his little tree stump that he stands on.
Yeah. By the way, the animals don't speak English ever.
No.
So this is used to communicate what he's saying.
Well, what do you think "row" means?
Yeah. He does go "row," but they don't
This
talk.
is a
words.
much better idea than having them like subtitled. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, because then they would just shove a bunch of bad jokes into the subtitles.
yeah.
Oh, it would be all like pop culture references
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Instead, we have pop culture references.
was going on in
thought
2010?
bubbles. Yeah, it'd be like,
knows?
oh, we got to go Gangnam Style on these guys. Or
I don't
something.
think it was Gangnam Style 2010.
I think it was, guys.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I know what was 2010 because there's a montage set to a Vampire Weekend song,
Yeah,
which made me go, oh boy, don't look up what some of the members of Vampire Weekend have been doing lately. Cause
Wait, are they actual vampires?
oh yeah, like, no,
never
they're
a
just
fan.
like bad sexual stuff with some of their fans.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
But
look at what
anyway.
the raccoon in this movie did.
Yeah. Afterwards, he died because raccoons don't live that
Sure,
long.
he's still with us.
He's
Oh, yeah, from 2010.
Yes, he's still.
he's
alive.
eating his piles of trash in heaven.
Yeah, that's
Raccoon
right.
heaven.
No, all the raccoons go to hell. They're little robbers. They're born into it.
Oh.
Original sin and all that.
They're adorable.
I did enjoy the kid. At one point, he's on Facebook, and it reminded me that on Facebook, you used to like update a status, like "What's on your mind?" Like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Justin
Colin
is
Cunningham is gassy or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
Yeah,
I remember
we
that.
all used to do that.
Put some lyrics of Vampire Weekend songs in your Facebook update
I mean,
or
again,
your
we've all-
MSN Messenger icon.
We've all been there. Anyway, so Brendan Fraser is told by Ken Jeong, you have to stay here for another 4 years. And they thought it was only 1 year, so his family is upset. Meanwhile, there's a subplot of Brooke Shields teaching at the school
Which goes nowhere.
with Samantha Bee, a Daily Show correspondent. And it doesn't go nowhere. It's just like she's unhappy. By the way, Brooke Shields is good in this.
She's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
But
she's
yeah, they
alright,
establish
yeah.
that she's like a science teacher, but then her only purpose is kind of to lead the Forest Fest
Yep.
or whatever. And she's teamed up with that old lady actor. God, she's in
been in
everything.
stuff. Right?
It was her last role. She was in Ghostbusters. She played the librarian.
Oh, shit. Anyway,
She's in like a
she
million
was-
things.
She was funny.
She was in Shutter Island too, wasn't she?
Nope, this was her last role. So
Oh,
you're just
yeah.
Oh,
you're
shit.
ageist. You're confusing old
Dude,
people.
Shutter Island actually came out before this.
Really?
Did it?
Shutter, because I remember I saw a preview of Shutter Island in 2009.
You know what? You
or
may be
early
right then.
2010.
And they
I'm
showed the
the
trailer
ageist
for
one.
Furry Vengeance before Shutter Island.
Wait, what's her name? I saw it in the IMDb trivia because it said her final role.
I don't-
See, I was thinking because of the style of the film that it came out in like 2001.
It feels
Yeah.
earlier
Because
than
that's
that.
what it feels like.
I
Yeah.
can't believe it was 2010.
That's crazy. 2010.
Wait, Billy Bush is in this? I must have missed him.
I don't
He's-
recall him being.
He's
this.
Corporal Punishment. He's the fitness instructor that Brendan
Oh,
Fraser's
That's who
watching.
that was.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was like, is that one of the guys from Super Troopers? That's literally what I thought maybe, when I saw that exercise guy.
Yeah, everybody, even like Jim Norton is in the background. He's one of the construction crew.
Who's that?
Jim Norton, he's like a comedian.
Okay.
And then Patrice O'Neill. He's another guy from The Office, I think. He was on the construction crew, and I don't even think
Okay.
they get any lines.
Well,
in the movie.
another comedic actor, Toby Huss, as the sheriff.
Sheriff, question mark?
Yeah, who is a big voice actor, but he's been in a million things.
Who could forget him doing the voice of Chex Note? Han from King of the Hill.
Oh, wait,
no!
he does Cotton as well,
Yes.
and he was in Seinfeld as the Wiz for Seinfeld fans. Nobody beats him, and he's
He's
had
in a million
acting role.
things.
He was
He's
also
like-
in Brendan Fraser movie Bedazzled. Guys, that movie.
I saw that for
movie
my
rocks.
birthday in theaters. Did not like it.
I like that movie.
Is it the one with what's her nuts?
Elizabeth
yes.
Hurley.
Elizabeth Hurley. Doesn't she play the devil or something?
Yes.
What's her nuts? Yeah,
I don't know.
They switched Dudley Moore for Elizabeth Hurley, so equal trade, I guess.
But yeah, Toby Hess is a really funny actor.
He's doing lots of voices in this movie.
Yeah, well, I don't like his character in this because he's a mean sheriff who shoots animals with trank guns.
I'm looking at what he's been. He has 158 credits.
Who,
nice to see that he
Toby
keeps
Hess?
working. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's in like not just comedies as well.
People really like him in that show Pete and Pete, which I never watched because we didn't really get it here.
Oh, is that
was
the like Nickelodeon show?
Yeah, he was like the world's strongest man. Was
Yeah,
his
I've never seen that because we didn't get that in Canada.
That's one of those things when people talk about, I remember the good old days of Pete and Pete. I'm like, nah, sorry,
People
YTV
talk
didn't
about
get that.
and like salute my shorts, and I don't know what that is.
What?
Well, that's when the shorts go up on the flagpole and you salute them because,
The fans of the show are probably like, they sound like idiots right now. That's a classic show. We didn't have that. All we had was Reboot and Bump in the Night.
And Angela Anaconda.
Angela Anaconda.
Angela Anaconda.
Yeah.
Reboot. Boop, boop.
I love Reboot.
Reboots.
So where are we in this? We didn't even get to the animal
basically
starting to
just at-
torture Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser gets
yeah.
I don't know if we need to go through every gag, but the really good ones are when he gets hit in the nuts and he gets water sprayed in his nuts and he gets hot coffee on him.
In his nuts.
In his nuts.
There is a funny throwaway gag, though, when they introduce Brooke Shields being like the science teacher at the school, and then they have the sign on the stage in the gymnasium. It says the Shakespearean players present Starlight Express.
Oh, that's funny.
It's like,
You know what Starlight Express is, April?
Is that the roller skating?
Yeah, the one where they're all
Andrew
choo-choo trains.
Oh yeah, they're trains.
yeah,
Yeah,
they-
Andrew Lloyd Webber's Starlight Express.
God.
it's all this
so
like
weird.
silver disco costumed thing.
So it's funny because they're Shakespearean actors.
Yeah,
Yes.
so they say.
Okay.
But it's just, and then on the stage, it's just like there's like a skateboard ramp, and then there's just like a bunch of like roller skates like hanging from the ceiling and stuff.
It'd be funny if it was like it closed down because they're all have broken legs or something like that.
Too real. Spider-Man just happened, April.
Oh,
You don't want to talk
no.
about that. Too many Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So Brendan Fraser, the animals start torturing him. They pull the Rob Riggle on him. They hit him with the car. He drops hot coffee on his crotch as well. Don't forget that.
He kind of like they have a standoff in the middle of the road with the raccoon. Now, this boulder, this boulder, he signals to the ferret again, and then they use the same kind of Rube Goldberg thing, but the size of the boulder, this thing is huge. This thing is like 10 feet
Like
wide.
it crushes the car.
This
almost.
would kill
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Well, it killed Rob Riggle. So.
I think, you know what, in the Rob Riggle scene, you can barely hear off screen, like, he's talking to Ken Jeong, and he's like, I quit. And they clearly ADR'd that in because they didn't want the raccoon
So they
to
don't
see
look
him.
for his body. It's like Duke's alive, like at the end of the G.I.
Wait, why
Joe.
did Rob Riggle say I quit?
It's because they didn't want him to seem dead.
Oh,
Like
okay.
like the raccoons literally just murdered him.
Yeah.
So they just
and
put
they're
it
just
in.
like, oh, and then it cuts to
I
like the
am
Rob Riggle
alive.
funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He died of internal injuries.
Brendan Fraser, you're getting a promotion.
Woohoo! So Brendan Fraser, he starts kind of a war with the animals. There's a montage. What song is it set to? It's like, don't bring me down.
Oh, it's ELO.
Oh yeah, ELO.
Don't bring me down. Yeah, so, you get into some Home Alone type hijinks, I guess. The animals are torturing him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
He's
it
building
was
traps.
Yeah, he tries to the animal stuff is pretty funny. Some of it is clever. Like they go in and steal all his clothes. So when he gets out of the bath, he doesn't have any clothes, which is kind of cute. And
there's a funny gag that he keeps being sprayed by a skunk and crashing into the same
yeah,
pipes.
That was-
And I looked it up. Taking a bath in tomato juice is just, an old wives' tale. It doesn't actually help when you get sprayed by a skunk.
oh really? I thought like
Interesting.
it helps a little bit, but
Nope.
no,
it's just
no.
the illusion because you smell the
Smell like
tomato
tomato.
juice. And so it doesn't actually help the smell.
Who would have that much tomato juice?
Well, he's also pouring like hot sauce on himself.
I remember my friend putting tomato juice in a bathtub when he got sprayed by a skunk. Because we live in the big city and there's skunks around here.
Oh, there is.
my
yeah.
my aunt did that with her dog. I as far as I know, it worked. I don't know. But the funny thing is he gets sprayed over and over again in this movie,
Constantly.
and he can just take a tomato juice bath and it's gone the next scene.
Or just
that's not what happened in real life.
There's at one point he gets sprayed so much that he opens the door to the car, just I guess skunk juice just pours right out.
Yeah, that's also not realistic.
It's
but that's
dripping
fine.
from his face, and he's like,
Yeah, it's also like a gas though.
Do you think Brendan Fraser's getting a taste for it? He's like,
well, he said,
spray the skunk juice.
Later in the movie, he gets sprayed in the face, and he's like, I love it. Well,
I heard a story
I forgot about that.
I heard a story on another podcast about someone's talking about how their dog, got in a fight with a skunk and it hit the skunk's not venom sac, smell sac, and it burst because, he killed the skunk. And then the dog smelled for years.
Oh, God.
Years. It could not get rid of that smell for multiple years. So this is a comedy
Until that
movie,
dog
so.
moved to a farm and lived a good, happy life afterwards.
He had a nice...
Don't look into any of the records.
Well, I also like the crow that keeps tapping on the window because, I don't know, I just felt like I could relate to that. That's the type of thing that would just drive me nuts. And the wife is just sleeping through it. She's like, Brendan Fraser, you're going insane. That's the thing. Nobody believes him that these animals are doing these things to him.
They do have the really funny shot, though. He's sleeping on the couch, and then he looks over at the wall, and then the crow has this really extended shadow on the wall, and it's just pecking at the window, and it looks so funny.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser, funny in this movie. I like every reaction that he has.
He's going for it.
Definitely, he's got a gut going that he embraces in many a scene.
Yeah, he ain't hiding it.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering the timeline of this. This was after The Mummy 3.
On the IMDb
Yes,
trivia, it's like Brendan Fraser decided to let himself go.
He was preparing for the whale.
12 years in advance.
12 years earlier, yeah.
Whatever, he's
having fun.
He's working it. He can't be a...
He shouldn't need to be a beefcake throughout his entire life if he doesn't
He was a
want to.
beefcake in the mid-90s. Let him age. Come on.
Yeah.
It's funnier, you can't have some hunky guy.
Hunk. Yeah, all we got is comedy hunks now. They're not funny. No more comedy hunks.
Exactly. I want them to look like real people. And so they do gags of him having to wear his wife's clothing. And isn't that funny?
Oh, it's that really tight tracksuit. Says yum yum on the ass.
Yeah, which is really stupid. By the way, you guys, everything joke in this movie is incredibly stupid, but sometimes
just saying them again is making me laugh. I want to go back and see him be sprayed by the skunk going, I love it, I love it.
But there is the shot, and I double checked, and it isn't the same shot. But yeah, you said he crashes twice into these this construction material.
Guys, we haven't talked about how shitty these animals look.
Okay, now the CG animals.
Wait, did you guys see the photo I posted of all of them comped together into
Well,
one?
the thing is, they can be real animals, but when they're comped together, half the time, more than half the time, they're not they're not blended properly.
Yeah.
With
Well,
this
it looks like one of the foxes looks stuffed in the background. It does not look like a real fox.
It does. So I don't know if it's some mishmash, but at some point he has this hallucination. He kind of takes this sleepy time
mushroom hallucination strikes again, folks.
Yeah, this is
and
great
he goes
sequence.
down into the kitchen, and they're all, what is it?
What are they dancing
they're
to?
Freak out.
Says she. Freak out.
This is a CG sequence.
Nightmare.
And they look horrific.
Yes.
Really. In 2010, if this was a 2001 movie, it would kind of explain it, but...
Well, the thing is, I'm sure that it was a budget limitation. It was a time limitation.
I'm sure the producers, as Colin has said he's heard before, went, it's a movie called Furry Vengeance, guys.
Who cares?
We don't need to do another pass.
I did get a feeling that they just weren't trying, they weren't trying to make it look good.
Because they knew they were working on
that nightmare sequence ends with Brooke Shields made up as a skunk?
That's
no,
funny.
a raccoon. She's got
That's
the
funny.
raccoon eyes, and we laughed.
We didn't talk about the David Cronenberg like makeup applied to Brendan Fraser after he's
Oh
stung
my
by
God.
bees.
We also laughed very hard at that.
That was
'Cause
amazing.
not only is he getting all these animals attacking him, he falls into a bush and a bunch of bees sting him, and then the hard cut, puffy Brendan Fraser face.
But it looks like
It looks like his eyes have been gouged out.
yeah, it looks like a picture of a cadaver or something like that.
It's good makeup.
It's pretty good. And then he starts talking, and you're just like,
Rated R.
yes.
And then in the next scene, he's just back to normal.
Yeah, he's fine.
Well, I told April it was like those 2 frames before someone's head explodes in a movie. Right?
That's exactly what it looked like.
It's like the rubber dummy.
Yeah.
And was this film brought to you by Wii by any way? Do you guys think so?
Yeah, that was funny. That made me laugh because it almost seemed. It's funny because he's like doing a commercial and the son is like, no, like I don't want to play that shitty game. But then later they just play it and they're like, isn't this fun? So I was like, okay, they paid to be in this movie. Why would you want to play real tennis when you could play Wii tennis, right?
Man,
guys?
we were all playing Wii. We could not get enough of it. Well, I didn't have a Wii, but my friend did. I would sit on the edge of his couch, just gut hanging out, waving my arm as little as I can, playing tennis.
I also never had a Wii, but I did play Wii bowling at my friend's house.
Yeah, I tried that once.
All our rich friends who had Wiis.
Yeah.
Anybody that threw their controller through their TV?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, because that was a big thing. It was before they had the safety straps on them.
Oh, they came out without the arm
Yeah.
straps? Wrist
Yeah,
straps?
and then there were just pictures going around of people with like the controller like straight into the TV screen. 'Cause
It's
it'd just be,
funny that
whipping their hands around.
like when Wii's came out, people thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah,
Like it was like, and like honestly, now I hate whatever you call that motion control sensor.
Yeah, I
but
never
You
got into
love
that.
your Wii U, April.
I don't love it. I have one, and
You play it all the time.
Does it still do that, like motion control? Can you choose
Yes.
to?
Well, yeah, but Wii U can also do regular like.
Well, Nintendo
Yeah.
Switch has motion controls too,
does
and it
too.
sucks.
It's
No
just
one ever
like-
wants to
it's
use those.
integrated into it, but you don't have to use it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Whereas Wii, you have to use it, and I could never find the stupid, mouse.
Yeah, I tried the bowling and it was not fun.
I was more of a PlayStation 3 gigantic lollipop kind of guy, the Wii U ripoff.
What?
Gigantic lollipop.
Yeah, PlayStation 3 had their Wii U thing, and it looked like a gigantic, multicolored lollipop at the top.
I don't even know that. I'm gonna have to look that up.
That sounds familiar. I got to look that up.
And Kinect, remember that?
Well,
the one that was
yeah.
supposed to be hands-free and never worked?
Everyone hated the Xbox Kinect.
People were like, "You're supposed to play movies with it or something too." Like,
What are you supposed to do? Get up and move your arms to
you
like
do
get
these like hand gestures to like pause and all this stuff.
Oh.
That just went away. Like, no one has even tried to achieve that since then.
Well, it's like,
Yeah.
what if I'm saying hi to my friend? Oh, I paused my movie. Like,
Yeah, I
ugh.
think the issue was it was for it was like the Xbox One where they tried to package up the Kinect in the box, like you couldn't buy it without
they
it.
forced you. Yeah.
They forced you, and then it added another $100 to the price tag, and everybody was like, "Fuck this!" Plus, it had to be on all the time so it could listen and see you.
Yeah.
And people freaked out, and then they panicked and backtracked, and then removed it, and then it just went away entirely.
There's a good video on YouTube that came out recently by a gaming historian who I think it's called Microsoft's 3 biggest failures, and there's a section on that on everything that Colin just mentioned, and it's
Yeah.
very informative and interesting.
The only thing I saw good coming out of the Kinect was people were using it for like experimental kind of films and like music videos and stuff like that, because it has like a depth sensor on the camera. You could do some really cool things. Like you could almost do like a kind of LiDAR point cloud version of your like environment and stuff
with
like
the
that.
with the Kinect.
Yeah, and people were like kind of hacking them and like recording the stuff that you weren't supposed to see and like getting these really cool effects. It was pretty neat.
That's cool. I mean, I like that it goes to show you that like every technology that comes out, people will find a way to use it to make art. I mean, they were doing it with Mario Paint in the 90s. You know, that's neat. Anyway.
Well, yeah, let me play with my Pixel Vision camera. It's still making movies with this bad boy.
Yeah.
You don't remember that, April?
Which one is
I mean,
that?
we were not alive at the time. It was a camera that filmed onto a like audio cassette.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw that in one of those
yeah,
YouTube
people like
videos.
Richard Linklater like use it in their films and stuff like that. And it's
that's
one of those
neat.
things that if you want to buy one now, it's like, all right, that'll be like $1 million. Oh, I guess we had that on Game Boys. Remember there was
Yeah.
that camera add-on that you could get?
Yes,
Oh,
there's a
shit.
Game Boy camera, and there was also like a printer thing, or you could go
Yes.
get your shit.
I did not
printed.
have that.
I
was
didn't
not
have it
a-
either.
Or you could print out like a 20 by 10 like
Yes.
Oh, it looked like
pixel.
shit. Like, I remember my friend having it and being like, "Wow, oh god, this is a blurry image of nothing." Like you can, if you squint and someone tells you what it is, you can maybe figure it
Yes,
out.
but it's a hard copy.
Yeah, making a sticker like filled with Pokemon around it, and then
Yeah,
you,
they did
you know,
that
put
as
it on your locker.
Yeah, that's what it's for. Okay, so let's jump to the Forest Festival because
Whoa.
Ken Jeong's company is going to.
Whoa, you're skipping
sponsor the
April. They
Forest
capture all the
Festival.
animals first.
That happens first.
Well, yeah.
Yes, it does.
Oh no!
Are we going to talk about the Wallace Shawn therapy
I
scene?
forgot about Wallace
Come
Shawn.
in.
Another cameo of a comedy legend in this movie.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's considered a comedy legend.
Yes, he is.
Well, he's a theatrical legend. That's what he's mostly famous for as a playwright and actor.
I mean,
But-
I think he's great. I
He's
know
the
him
Princess
mostly
Bride
from
guy.
Clueless or Princess.
Oh, Princess Bride, Clueless.
Yeah.
Clearly, for me, it's
that Woody Allen.
It's his
movie.
stage
My
work.
Dinner with
Joke-
Andre.
joke
No,
about that Woody
Rifkin's
Allen-
Festival.
The less said about that, the better.
Yeah, so everybody thinks Brendan Fraser's going crazy. He goes to like a therapy, but it's kind of funny because he shows him like the Rorschach test, like the ink
Oh,
blots.
that's really funny.
they're
They're clearly
clearly-
animals.
Clearly animals.
And it's like the specific animals that are torturing him.
Well,
too.
that's an angry
Yeah.
raccoon. Well, that's an angry like possum.
He's like, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
Meanwhile, in the background, in the parking lot, the raccoon and like the skunk is like they're like hot wiring Brendan Fraser's car, like driving it
Yeah.
off. Where do these animals come from that they can do all
They're
this?
super intelligent.
Yes.
They escape from a lab like the plague dogs, and they have super brains.
They got like wires hanging out the back of their head.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, it's suggested later that
the
they...
darker R-rated version of Furry Vengeance before they went in with CGI and removed all of the wires coming out of their heads.
It is suggested later that they're like magic animals from a magic forest because there's like a
that's
there's
right,
like a history
because-
of a folklore legend.
The son discovers that multiple Brendan Frasers, like
my
Viking Brendan Fraser, hippie Brendan Fraser,
Pilgrim
tried
Brendan.
to take over the forest, and it cuts to like a puppet raccoon punching them in the face.
Yeah, and that's like the history of this happening
So
before.
funny, but the-
That was what I thought the whole movie was going to be. Just puppets punching
him in the face.
him in the face and kicking him in the crotch.
It's funny though, like it just punches him in the eye, and it's like
It's
Do you
very
think that was
funny.
added in post? People were like, not enough puppets punching Brendan
I hope
Fraser in
so.
the face.
I hope so.
and then when it gets to the hippie, it just like grabs his mouth and like stretches it
He's
open.
like, oh!
Sticks its little paw in his mouth.
God, don't let a raccoon do that. Raccoons are some of the most diseased animals around.
It's true.
no matter
They're
how cute
so
they are.
cute.
They are cute, but if you ever get bitten or scratched by one, you better get a rabies shot.
Even if you just like smell their feces, it's so dangerous. Like worms can burrow into your organs and shit like that.
Yeah.
So stay away.
Like spores and stuff get into your lungs.
Yeah.
I remember my friend told me when I was a kid that if you get rabies, it's like if you're bitten by a dog that has rabies, you can tell you have rabies because if you look at water, you'll go insane.
that. You know what? Your friend is not 100% wrong.
Is that actually a symptom?
of rabies is hydrophobia.
Okay.
so
I
you're
was
afraid
thinking-
of water?
Yes.
How does that like manifest itself? though?
Maybe
I
you
wanna
can't
wonder.
swallow water. That's what happens to
Extreme
Elaine
or
on
irrational
Seinfeld.
fear of water, especially as a symptom of rabies in humans.
Okay.
That's the first thing that comes up if you search it. So.
It's bizarre. Okay, so he was right, but I was like, what? So you just so
Because your friend was afraid of water, and you're like, "You're just kidding. You don't have rabies."
no, I think we like
You're-
I don't know if I like got bit by a dog or something like that, and so I'm like,
Oh no!
and I kept looking at the puddle on the side of the road, like going, okay, I'm okay.
Were you scared?
Yeah, he told me that.
All I heard about rabies is what they always told me growing up. You have to get 10 needles in your stomach.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that would always scare me.
Sounds like a nightmare.
I don't know if that's true, but I think they just said that to scare children.
I think you did. Actually.
You probably do. I don't know.
I don't know. That and tetanus.
well, like
were,
scare children from not being bitten by dogs. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like it's not a choice.
If it's foaming at the mouth and it's it's got rabies.
Okay, so
none of the animals in this have rabies.
No.
Can you imagine that being like a last minute twist? So, like an animal that bit Brendan Fraser in the crotch had rabies, and it ends with Brendan Fraser having to be put down.
His wife gives him like a glass of water.
Yeah, it's played for comedy, but then it ends like The Fly with her holding like a double-barreled shotgun to his head. Aww. Do it!
Well, at some point, Brendan Fraser just hits a breaking point and goes into the woods with a gun. And he's about to shoot our sweet raccoon friend.
It's like a crossbow that he has.
A crossbow. And he goes, I can't do it. Because he's a good guy. And I knew that going into this because all throughout the movie, he doesn't want to deforest this area. But he's just telling himself that it's not so bad because he wants his career to move forward. He wants to make money. And he's letting Ken Jeong influence him, but we all know he's a good guy, but we still enjoy him getting hurt by these animals because it's funny.
Yeah, this scene leads to one of my favorite things in comedies, especially animal comedies, where it's just somebody from off screen throwing a Muppet at somebody, and then that person just fights them off as it bites their crotch and face.
Yeah, that's the puppet returns.
It's great.
Yeah, and so they're having like a battle royale thing, but Toby Huss shows up with a tranq gun, not a real gun, thank goodness, and he
knocks it out.
And like he's like, is he dead? No, he's just sleeping.
Up. So that's their plan. They build this like, I don't know, inescapable prison, like animal prison. They go like tranquilizing all the animals in the forest.
And they're all in different cages. Now, later, Brendan Fraser shows, because I'm like, first of all, Brendan Fraser's like, it's just for a few days until we get this investor to sign this blah, blah, blah. But I was like, oh no, they're in cages, like, they're gonna starve. They're not gonna have water. Later, like an animal like guy shows up who's like clearly like taking care of them. Mm-hmm. He brings the two raccoons babies. He goes, I found your children. So he's like mean, but they did that so they're clearly showing like they're being taken care of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I was worried that I would be feeling bad for these animals in this movie, and
I was feeling pretty bad for them.
I feel bad that they're in the cage, but really they have the upper hand throughout this whole movie, other than in that one scene.
The upper paw,
upper claw for the birds.
There you go, or upper ass for the skunks. That's what they're showing.
By the way, one thing we didn't mention is the gags is a bear shoves him into a porta potty.
And then puts him in a tree, right?
Yes.
And people are so disgusted they hose him down with that was an industrial fire.
That was the breaking point, I think.
That's kind of like the running gag in this
movie. You got some Purell, he screams.
Yeah, it's like just spray him down with water, like the skunk smell goes away. They clean out his car, like.
He's like, I got it detailed. It took like an hour.
It seems like an hour. And like, I don't know, 8 skunks have been spraying inside this car thing. That thing, you would have to burn it to get that smell out.
Yeah, you can't.
It never goes away.
There was a whole Seinfeld episode about that, only it was BO.
my friend at work, he had a family of skunks under his deck. And I kept telling him, you have to get that taken care of. Calling specialists, you have to get them removed because once they set up, that's it. You can't go out in your lawn, blah, blah, blah. He wouldn't listen to me. No. What happens? His dog goes under there and gets sprayed.
Yeah.
Smelled for weeks.
Yeah, well, weeks. He got off easy. It could have been years.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he could have turned into a skunk himself.
That's what happens, right?
You know, the skunk curse. Once they settle down, you become a skunk as well.
You can tell because when you look at a skunk, you go insane.
So the
lust.
Forest Festival is happening, and Ken Jeong decides it's going to be a good idea to have the investor sign this development deal at the festival.
Yeah, he's like an Indian investor, the guy from 40-Year-Old
Virgin, and Zack and Miri Make a Porno, among other things.
Glad to see him get some work.
He's funny enough. But yeah, so while this is happening, Brendan Fraser has a change of heart. He goes to the
because he sees that the little raccoon has raccoon children.
Yeah, he's like, you're just trying to protect.
You're just
your
looking
family.
out for your kids.
Yeah, isn't it sweet, you guys?
So he frees them all.
And then they decide to make a plan. They make a
scale model
of the festival as it's happening with a little Ferris wheel and everything.
But it's all made out of like twigs and rocks and leaves and stuff.
It's so cute.
It's really cute.
And then of course they do the ultimate attack. anything you can imagine. They're pooing on them, tons of bird poo, skunk sprays.
This is where he gives
What
them the
else?
rousing speech, the speech bubble, and then it shows them like, Braveheart.
That was the
and then-
Braveheart scene?
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
Braveheart reference.
Yeah, and I mean they're like protesting Kang Jeon, and then he doesn't get the investor to sign it.
He ends up shooting him in the ass with the trank gun.
Right.
Remember?
We knew that was gonna happen, but also they put Toby Huss, the animals, like on top of a car, and they like drive a car somehow into the.
Yeah, they steal his car, and
These
then
animals can drive cars.
Yeah, they can do anything. I thought they were gonna like tie him up like in Manhunter and then set him on fire and just like wheel the car slowly into the middle of the festival.
They're not that evil.
Oh, well,
Although they did kill.
It was like the end of RRR. All the animals pull up in the car and jump out
We
and attack
we
everyone.
said that when we.
Yeah,
watched
April's like,
this.
I hope he frees them all in one go, like RRR.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's it. We get all the bad guys get their comeuppance. Every member of the festival runs away screaming. So everybody in this town is
Scarred forever.
Yeah.
Scarred for life, yeah. Ken Jeong, I think he's probably dead.
Yeah, he's dead. He gets dragged into the animal. They're gonna put his body where Rob Riggle's.
Yeah, they drag him away in that balloon thing.
They're gonna take him to the Wicker Man in the middle of the forest, set him ablaze.
And then at the end of the movie, all the CGI animals are just like standing in a line, and it looks so bad.
Yeah.
And wait, it's revealed that Brendan Fraser is now a park ranger.
Yes.
Which I feel like it takes longer than a year to get that job, but okay.
Well, they don't even show him. They show the animals, like raccoon, like feeding his family with the bowls and a table and stuff with like a little home.
And then all the kids are like playing with little toys and stuff.
It's very cute. But then they just pan up to a picture of new park ranger, and it's a picture of Brendan Fraser. Like
It's like a
was that a
protected-
reshoot?
It feels like something that they couldn't get Brendan Fraser back for.
Is he Dudley Do right now?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. He's Ranger
And
Dan.
Is the movie over? No. There's an
Oh,
extended.
this is my favorite part.
This
extended
is-
end
You know you
sequence.
got a good comedy movie when there's a song at the end, and also a very weird parody of nothing.
Well, it's multiple parodies, and come to think of it, in this movie, the characters dress up like they're in other movies, a movie montage. They do that in The Sweetest Thing as well.
Oh,
and
okay.
they also do Grease in that, in both things. So I think this might be a director
This is
trademark.
insane. Well, Insane in the Membrane is the song
Oh,
they're
God.
doing, but they're referencing like just random things like what?
Blue Lagoon.
Risky Business. Well, Blue Lagoon.
That's
okay,
a Brooke
it's Brooke
Shields
Shields. But like Grease, Britney Spears,
Yeah.
and you can tell,
All very dated references.
this isn't something that it's like, oh shit, our movie's, not long enough. We really have to pad out like the end credits.
You don't think so?
No.
The movie wraps up 123.
Because this thing has been planned because
the musical number.
yeah,
Yes,
they
yes,
have the
yes.
actors like singing it in. It appears like every goddamn scene in the movie.
So
As they were shooting this movie, they were having them.
So other movies in the past, in the 90s, have done this. Most famously, there's Something About Mary,
Yeah.
where they're singing "Build Me Up, Buttercup." I think
so, yeah.
And then Shallow Hal did it as well, and
Oh.
they're singing "Rosemary, Love Grows Where My Rosemary Goes," and it makes me feel really weird about. So every scene they
Yeah.
shot. They had to pick this song ahead of time,
Yeah.
which is a pop version of Cypress Hill's "Insane in the Membrane." I think that's Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
Insane in the membrane.
So
Insane
after
in the
every
brain.
scene, we're gonna have to lip sync to "Insane in the Membrane." It's just stupid.
It's
At the
like-
same time, I
Love it. Love the dedication
I
to
feel
this.
I know.
like it's propaganda for. We had a lot of fun making this movie, you guys. Look how much fun we're having.
Yeah, but I mean, they used to say that about like having the outtakes and stuff.
I would have preferred bloopers.
Yeah, but this, man, talk about committing to the bit. Like,
Yeah.
this has to have been planned from the
Well-
beginning. There's
That's not my favorite part. My favorite part is when there's movie parodies and they put furry in front of it,
Yeah.
which is like Furry Blue Lagoon, Furry Risky Business.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think you guys think what that means what it
Well,
actually
furries
means.
were 100% around in 2010.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And they released this movie seemingly, I mean,
they
not-
must have been very disappointed when they saw this.
maybe
movie.
now, like your grandma doesn't, or your parents maybe don't know what the term furry means, but it's a lot more mainstream now than it was
Definitely,
10
yeah,
years
for
ago.
sure.
Now you can't put it in your title without people making fun of you, or at least pointing that out.
Yeah. So it'd have like risky business, and then they'd cross out risky to be furry business.
Yeah. Furry Lagoon.
Furry grease.
That's furry grease.
Greasy.
Furry vengeance. But what's weird about putting furry in front of those things is like it's not even like they're furry or there's animals in them. It's like the Blue Lagoon one is just Brendan Fraser sticking his gut out and walking through frames with Brooke Shields.
And then there's a raccoon maybe in the corner.
I think the raccoon slides in, does the risky business thing, and then slips.
He does do the risky
he kind of
business
slips
thing.
and wipes out. The other ones, then there's like the caveman, Brendan Fraser is doing it. It's very strange.
Encino Man reference.
Furry Encino Man.
I guess, yeah.
And that's the movie.
There you go. It's Furry Vengeance.
Now, guys, this movie is really reviled, especially on the internet. It has an extremely low IMDb and Letterboxd rating, and I gotta say, am I just stupid? Maybe, but I enjoyed this movie. Like,
I enjoyed it too. I thought it was funny.
I can see why people would think it's dumb, but like it is dumb, and that's why I
just don't get movies like this anymore.
No,
you know.
You're absolutely right. Especially not a mainstream comedy that's just this silly, and it's like it's slapstick, and yeah.
Are there still children's movies that are made like this that star like wrestlers? I'm thinking of like the Tooth Fairy or
I think
John
so,
Cena's like Fire Patrol
But hey,
or whatever
this
it was
is
called.
This is PG.
Playing with fire.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to see those movies to know, but I have a feeling that they suck, so I don't know. But this was fun. This had so many comedians in it.
Yeah, I kind of like off
Samantha Bee, Rob Riggle.
Come on, they're good.
Wallace Shawn,
They're good.
comedic legend.
Rob Riggle. I do as I please.
Classic line.
It's a classic comedy from Image Nation Abu Dhabi.
What were you gonna say, Colin?
No, I liked it off the top. I think it kind of once it goes into the kid's story with you know what I mean. I don't need any of that stuff. It could have done with some more nut trauma.
Yeah, a little
I'm
more.
not talking
nut trauma.
about
more
walnuts.
nut trauma.
Well, remember when they put acorns in his yogurt and berries, and he bites down on it? I thought the next scene for sure he would have missing teeth. No,
just a sore back.
Yeah. He should have like got his nuts ripped off and then they like put them back in. And then like he has super nuts and it's like, aha, try to hurt me now.
He has balls of steel.
Balls of steel.
Okay, so that's the movie.
It's a fun goof.
I was very pleasantly surprised because I didn't really know what to expect. I was getting it confused with that Without a Paddle movie, which is I think that has some animal stuff in there too. Doesn't Brendan Fraser get like a turkey biting his dick or something? Or a duck?
I don't think Brendan Fraser's in Without a Paddle.
Is. I looked it up. Oh, sorry. I meant Seth Green.
Brendan Fraser, Seth Green, often confused with each other.
Oh, God. Anyway. Wait,
who's in Without a Paddle?
I think it's
Seth Green.
Breckenmeyer, too. Or maybe I'm just thinking it because they're always in the same movies.
Yeah.
Dak Shepard. All those guys. I think that's an earlier movie.
It's all the Robot Chicken Gang.
Yeah. Anyway, this movie is Where You Imagine It Is on Tubi. Tubi, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
I believe there was only like one commercial break too when we watched this.
Yeah, that's right.
Not bad. I'm sure you can also rent it on iTunes if for some reason you don't have
or something.
Yeah, if for some reason you don't have Tubi. But obviously we're recommending it, and I think we've let you know what it is. So I would definitely I would watch this alone. I would watch it with friends. I would watch it with my loved one if you're in the mood for a stupid animal comedy.
For sure. Hey, and they use real animals for the most part, which is good.
Boo! Their eyes are running wide through horrifying CGI.
Okay, so if you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingasabadmovie@gmail.com, and we're on Patreon, patreon.com/nosuchthingasabadmovie. And as per usual, if you're on the $5 level and up, you get a bonus episode every 2 weeks. We just recorded one on Nope, which features lots of horsies, so it fits with Animal Month, and we have something super, super special coming out later this month at some point during Animal Month.
Can we talk about it?
Yes.
All right.
I think we should let the listeners know.
You got to get people hyped up for it.
I think we should let them know. So we are going to be releasing a full-length commentary track to
The Wild.
The Wild. Disney's The Wild.
Wait, but why The Wild?
It's the movie that Colin worked on, did a voice in, and
has seen.
has seen.
Has seen once.
Directed
by Colin Spaz.
Steve
Spaz Williams, who was recently featured on the ILM documentary on Disney Plus. This movie is on Disney Plus, but you would never know because it's completely hidden in the recesses.
It looks like it got. This is the only time you'd ever be able to see it in HD because it only ever got a DVD release.
Yes.
The only documentary footage you can find about this movie is a parody about Colin doing the voice of the character.
Yeah, I was one of the 2 extras that were included on the DVD, and I think the other one was like a music video or something like that.
Probably baffling children everywhere.
So there was no commentary, probably.
I don't think there was a commentary.
So this could be the first feature-length commentary featuring somebody who worked on the movie.
It's certainly the only time that I will have ever seen it in HD. It never got a Blu-ray release.
Well, for those of you who don't know what this movie is, it's about a bunch of animals who escape a zoo and go to a desert island.
Well, you're talking about Madagascar.
Yes. Yeah, Madagascar.
The reason people don't know about it is because Madagascar came out, completely stole its thunder. Want to know more about the story behind this movie? Listen to this commentary track. We'll be going into what really happened, what the story was behind the scenes, what Colin's experience was working on it as a voice actor and as a VFX person.
Colin will have stories of rubbing shoulders with the likes of Kiefer Sutherland, Jim Belushi,
and
Jareen Garofalo, William Shatner, and Richard Kind.
And as much as I'm legally allowed to tell.
And at the premiere, Harlan Williams.
No, that was the Spawn premiere.
We already told that story then.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, so we figured it was too much.
Oh God, sorry, I'm looking at photos of like the
What?
Because the animals are all like kind of photorealistic in the movie.
Yeah, it's a weird mix.
And that koala is creeping me out.
That's Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard, yeah. Okay, so it was too much just to fit in an episode. We figured it'd be much better as a commentary, which you can sync up or just listen to on its own.
Hey, this could be like the most people that have ever watched this movie.
Or would ever know about it.
So the film was like, did it get a theatrical release?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I remember it was delayed a long time.
It was delayed like a year.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we'll tell the story.
We'll get into it on our commentary, which we have not recorded yet. So
the wild buzz.
Yes,
the wild.
So this might be the only place, and it will be on our Patreon at the $5 level. So we'll be continuing to promote it this month until it comes out, which will be sometime for Animal Month.
And we're not going to talk about Jim Belushi pissing in jars on the set, according to Jim,
we already
and putting
have
them in a closet.
I don't remember what episode. Probably the File Effects movie.
Colin's doing his voices beside Jim. You just hear the sound of piss.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, what are you doing?
And
want to swing?
And listeners, if you want to find me I am on Instagram and Twitter at April Atmansky.
You can find me on Twitter, DeCluJ, DCLOUX, letter J, and every week on the Important Cinema Club podcast. Search it where all great podcasts can be listened to.
You can find me on Twitter, Sergeant Sima, SGTZIMA.
And that's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in, and we will have more fun animal-themed movies coming up for you this month. Roar! I'm April Atmansky.
Woof! I'm Justin the Clue.
What does a chipmunk do?
Yeah, I can't do it.
Oh, Colin Chipmunk Cunningham.
Oh, okay.
Colin Cunningham.
And there's no such thing as a bad movie.